Let's do a basic setup of OpenSquiggly on Azure Kubernetes Service. Let's see, I've got Helm installed. If I do a Helm repo list, we see that I've added my OpenSquiggly repo, and I've got, to save myself some typing, I've got kubectl alias to simply K. All right, and if I do kconfig get contexts, I have my current context set to my AKS cluster 1. Notice the asterisk here. Okay, and so I'm going to use the all-in-one Helm chart. So we'll do Helm install. It's OpenSquiggly test 1. And we're going to use OpenSquiggly, the all-in-one chart, and we're going to set the, we always have to set the cloud type, and we're going to set that to Azure, and we'll do, we can always set the disk size. Let's just, to prove that that works, let's try, I don't know, 48 gigabytes. And we'll leave the rest of the settings by default. There's some advanced settings that we can set the Elasticsearch heap size and things like that, but we're not going to deal with that. And this is going to be a basic install that's going to give us a load balancer. We're not doing, we'll have more advanced videos and documentation on how to set up an ingress controller and use HTTPS and a custom DNS name. We're not doing any of that in this basic setup video here. So let's go ahead and do this. And there we go. If we do a kget pods, okay, we see the test one. I already had another one installed, but if we do a minus watch on this and see if this comes up. Okay, there it says it's running. Do a describe pod on that. Just take a look at that. Okay, to successfully attach the volume, blah, blah, blah. Those messages all look correct. Okay, look like we're in good shape. If I do a kget storage class right now, you can see what OpenSquiggly does is it creates a storage class for you. Now, there's all these other ones that it could use. Why doesn't it use any of them? Well, it mostly wants to, what it's trying to do is use this managed CSI premium. But notice how this managed CSI premium has a reclaim policy set to delete. We want something basically exactly like that, but with the reclaim policy set to retain. And the reason why we want that is because we don't want to accidentally delete your data if you go through a lot of trouble, put a lot of data in, and then, don't make a backup of it. We want to at least give you one last chance to save off your data before we go deleting it. If you were to delete your release. So if we do a kget PVC, that'll be the persistent volume claim. We see that it's created a 48 gigabyte. That's what we asked for, persistent volume claim, and it's bound that to a persistent volume. KPV, we can see the kget PV, we can see the 48 gigabyte volume that it's created. This is what's nice about Kubernetes versus a virtual machine. Like in a virtual machine, you have to, create your disk and attach it and go through and do, you have to partition it and format it and mount it and add it to your FS tab table and kind of do all these steps. Our scripts simplify some of that for you, but still it's a little bit of a hassle. Whereas in in Kubernetes with these Helm charts, you just create the disk space for you and you don't have to mess around with any of those steps. That's pretty nice. And so kget pods again, we should see it's running out. And now lastly, if I do a kget service, we should see the load balancer service. So by default, if you don't ask us for an ingress controller, we give you a load balancer, and that load balancer can be hit on this fixed IP address here. As I said, we'll have more advanced videos on how to set up a custom DNS name and all that stuff. But right now, if you were to hit this IP address from your browser, it should bring up the login screen, and from there you can start creating users and start adding mount points and do all the OpenSquiggly fun stuff. Thank you.